Walk down the aisle of any modern grocery store today, and you are surrounded by a multi-billion-dollar wellness industry. Pristine displays of organic produce, raw foods, and plant-based diets are completely normalized, packaged in sterile branding for everyday consumption. Long before corporate boardrooms took interest, the blueprint for this entire lifestyle was drafted by a secretive, polyamorous 1970s cult. The pioneers of this movement were a group known as the Source family, led by a highly charismatic and controlling figure calling himself Father Yod. The modern organic aesthetic we trust to keep us healthy actually conceals a history of religious extremism, manipulation, and a tragic, highly public death. Before he was a spiritual guru, Father Yod was Jim Bakker. Born in the Midwest in 1922, Bakker was a tough, highly disciplined World War II Marine and a jiu-jitsu practitioner who once publicly beat a professional judo expert in 1949. His life pivoted when he moved to California in the mid-century. Bakker abandoned his hardened military persona and immersed himself in esoteric mysticism. He became a follower of Yogi Bhajan and began intensely studying Kundalini Yoga, a discipline designed to awaken energy at the base of the spine. By the late 1960s, Bakker broke away to form his own philosophy, renaming himself Father Yod. He gathered a flock of young followers and mandated a lifestyle of strict utopian communal living, absolute vegetarianism, and adherence to what he called nature's laws. He quickly successfully built a deeply devoted commune. But sustaining a large-scale utopian vision for dozens of people required a massive, continuous influx of cash. To solve the money problem, the cult opened the Source restaurant in 1969. Situated on Los Angeles' famous Sunset Strip, it became the financial engine supporting the entire 150-person commune. The Source restaurant was incredibly successful, consistently hitting $10,000 a day in gross sales. But those daily profits were immediately drained to pay for the housing, feeding, and insulated lifestyle of the 150 commune members operating the business. By serving farm-to-table vegetarianism in a sunny, welcoming environment, the restaurant functioned as a cultural bridge to Hollywood elites. Even John Lennon became a regular customer. So did Marlon Brando, along with Julie Christie and other stars who sought out the trendy, health-conscious menu. These Hollywood stars were essentially paying for the expansion of a movement they didn't fully understand. Every single organic salad served on the Sunset Strip directly subsidized the growth of Father Yod's private empire. But the public-facing success of the restaurant hid the reality of the cult's private life. After their shifts ended, the workers retreated to a secluded mansion in the Hollywood Hills. Inside that Los Feliz estate, Jim Bakker held absolute authority. He took 14 different wives, fathered multiple children, and demanded grueling physical labor, framing the exhaustive restaurant work as a form of religious devotion. To spread his teachings even further, Bakker formed an experimental psychedelic rock band comprised of commune members, called Yahowah 13. Operating out of the mansion's garage, the band recorded entirely improvised sessions, with Father Yod on lead vocals and a kettle drum. They pressed these recordings onto vinyl LPs and sold them directly to patrons out of the vegetarian restaurant. The public eagerly consumed the cult's physical products. They ate the organic salads and bought the experimental records, entirely blind to the intense, controlling reality of the commune manufacturing them. By late 1974, the insulation of the commune began to fracture. The Source family faced mounting external pressures, including scrutiny from local health departments and investigations by the police. Feeling the heat closing in, Father Yod panicked. On December 26, 1974, he abruptly sold the highly profitable Source restaurant and forced the entire 150-person family to relocate to Hawaii. Fleeing in fear was a fatal strategic blunder. By selling the restaurant, the cult severed its only financial artery and physically isolated itself from the Los Angeles culture it had so successfully infiltrated. By August 1975, the family was isolated on the island of Oahu. Without the restaurant's daily cash flow, their finances were rapidly draining, and internal tensions among the members were reaching a boiling point. To assert his divine authority and prove his total spiritual fearlessness, Father Yod made a reckless decision. he declared he would leap off a 1,300-foot cliff on the eastern shore using a hang glider. He had absolutely zero prior aviation experience. The jump was a disaster. He plummeted from the cliff and crash-landed on the beach below. Despite suffering massive internal injuries, he strictly refused all medical treatment, adhering to the rigid nature's laws he had preached for years. 9 hours later, Jim Bakker died. The family dubbed the event Black Monday. Watching their infallible leader die from a stunt instantly shattered the illusion of his godhood, and the Commune quickly dissolved. For decades, the Source family was relegated to historical obscurity, a strange footnote in the history of Los Angeles cults. But their influence didn't die on that beach. Their archives of recipes, music, and home movies were meticulously preserved by former members, eventually resurfacing through documentaries and books in the early 2000s. Today, this rediscover aesthetic has been repackaged as hot IP for a new generation of modern, health-conscious consumers. Father Yod failed to become a god, but the specific vision of organic, plant-based eating he sold on the Sunset Strip has become the standard for the modern American grocery aisle.